Part 82. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 816. Wang Yan did not jump downstairs. He has already fought against Shen Rong. He couldn't win one-on-one, let alone now. He still has to take his sister with him, and he has to face so many people on the other side. If he goes down, he will definitely die. He still had to struggle. Seeing the zombies that had climbed up to the third floor, he kicked a few brothers down and cut them off. The zombies swarming towards the brothers gave them the opportunity and time to run upward. What if there is a turnaround? What if there weren't as many zombies as he thought? At this moment, no one knows what the right choice is. Those Dongcheng people with good abilities tried to jump downstairs, some hid in certain rooms nearby, some ran directly to the roof. A quarter of an hour ago, they never imagined that they would be the ones who would be trapped and die in this building. Wang Yan and Wang Ziyi worked hard. They even found the iron rope used by the community's superpowers to go downstairs, but unfortunately, it was broken. They chose to run upstairs. But Song Tao made the opposite decision to Wang Yan. He jumped from the fifth floor. He didn't think much about it. He just wasn't willing to give in. Unwilling to accept that his judgment was wrong. Unwilling to be reconciled, he was defeated by Shen Rong again. Not willing to repeat the same mistakes, everything today will be the same as last night, and it will be the same as the most unbearable night at the bank half a year ago. He just wants to defeat it head on. He couldn't fight that night at the bank half a year ago. This time, at least he couldn't miss this opportunity. He jumped down from the back building. Thanks to his powers and skill, he only suffered some superficial injuries. Shen Rong and the others gathered around. He clamored for a showdown with Shen Rong. He took off his protection on his own initiative and looked very sincere. Tao Ran gave him this opportunity so that everyone didn't need to shoot, and then faced him head on. This was Song Tao's first real fight with Tao Ran. Only after meeting face to face did he realize his naivete. He looked into the eyes of the girl in front of him. He had special powers and was completely aware of every move the girl was going to make, but he just couldn't win. His powers were turned on to the maximum, and his fists were pounding in a dizzying manner, but he still couldn't do anything. Moreover, he didn't know why, but every blow from Shen Rong was aimed at his knees, as if to make him kneel down in front of these people. He knelt and stood and knelt again. His self-esteem was cracking as slowly as his kneecaps. What exactly is your superpower? Song Tao couldn't stand up and was stepped on by Tao Ran. I don't have any powers, Tao Ran replied coldly. I just have to work harder than you and use my brain more. Ha, Song Tao laughed at himself, I admit defeat. He jerked his gun out of his lower back. Everyone was shocked and pointed their guns at him. However, Song Tao's gun was pointed at himself. He turned his back to the groaning and screaming building behind him and killed himself first. In this way, he won't have to face the horror of hell again. Wang Yan and the others have already reached the top floor. Seeing Song Tao dead, they felt even more desperate. With nowhere to go, they had no choice but to go to the rooftop. But they soon discovered that the hinges on both sides of the double iron door on the rooftop were actually broken. This is certainly not in disrepair. But on purpose. Too cruel. The crumbling door soon fell straight to the ground. But before the Dongcheng people found a suitable barrier, the zombie swarm had already arrived. If you don't want to die, you can only kill. But, I can't kill them all. The bullets in his hand were all gone, so he could only use brute force. They suddenly realized that this was not as good as the East Gate yesterday. At the East Gate, there is at least a place to lure away these zombies, but on the rooftop, neither they nor the zombies have anywhere to go. Bai Jasmine fainted several times. She almost died of fright several times. Living people were pounced on by zombies one by one. They were either bitten until they were bloody, torn into strips and became the food of those monsters, or they fell directly from the stairs and fell into a bloody mess. She screamed again and again. Soon, she began to regret that she shouldn't have made any noise. Because her howl attracted the attention of a Dongcheng man who was cornered by zombies. When the man saw her, his eyes suddenly lit up, as if he suddenly found a way to survive. He jumped directly off the rooftop, hugged Bai Moli, hung his body on hers, and barely stepped on a bulge on the wall with his feet. He laughed and hung in the air, safe now. But Bai Moli couldn't laugh. Because she saw this man, one of his legs had clearly been bitten off by a zombie. When this man laughed, his expression was so ferocious that he no longer looked like a human being. He is changing. Next, Bai Moli went through the longest and most painful period of her life, and got the way of death that she most feared, hated, and didn't want. The man bit her before he completely turned into a zombie. Bai Moli watched her fresh blood flow all over her body, saw herself turn into a monster, and finally lost control and lost her mind. The last thought in her life, she was still thinking, how wonderful it would be if she had not entangled Shenrong in the pharmacy that day, how wonderful it would be if she had never been to this community. The machine gun in Wang Yan's hand kept firing, and he was really at his wits' end. His men had their own choices, and many zombies were attracted to each room on each floor. He originally thought that after the 11-story house was dispersed, there wouldn't be too many zombies that could reach the top of the building. But the magazine of his machine gun was empty, and the zombies still seemed to be headless. How many zombies do these mentally ill people have in their communities? Who the hell would put so much effort into doing something like this? It's as if they already knew someone would come up one day and were prepared. Wang Yan didn't want to die. This time, it was him who began to ask Chao Ran for a deal. I'll give you everything I have in Chengdong Hospital. You let my sister and I leave. I promise not to come back, okay? Chao Ran responded with his exact words, I want to negotiate now, it's too late. Do you want to save trouble and wait for someone to come looking for you again in the future? In fact, Dongcheng people are not completely homeless. If they unite as one and don't run away and scatter when they encounter a crisis, or even support each other, they can definitely find a way to block the stairwell to delay after the zombies rush in. However, they were as scattered as a pile of sand. They just wanted to run away and survive on their own, without any organization at all. The opportunity is fleeting and it is impossible to recover it. As time passed, this building slowly became the home of zombies. The longer the delay, the lower the survival rate in the building will be. Chao Ran and the others also freed up their hands to pack up the convoy materials left by Dongcheng people outside the community. The trees fell and the Hosens dispersed, and all the Dongcheng people who stayed behind and patrolled outside ran away. As they ran, they expressed that they would never return to Dongcheng, and they would never return to Sitia again. Chao ran past an ambulance, and a zombie jumped on the window and bared his teeth at her. Who was that person if it wasn't Yao Weiwei? Unable to cure the mutated Dongcheng people, she was eventually turned into a monster. I will do what I promised you, Chao Ran said, you are still the hero of the base, and your family will be proud of you. You died for the sake of justice. It is glorious. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 817. After seeing that Yao Weiwei had turned into a zombie and was locked in the ambulance of Dongcheng Hospital, Chao Ran knew that everything was over. Now even if Wang Yan, Wang Ziyi and the others could survive the zombie swarm, they would never be able to get out of the hands of the base people alive. Yao Weiwei's family background and her status in the base doomed Wang Yan and the others to a dead end. In the afternoon of the next day, the base finally gathered manpower and arrived 2 days after the flare was released. Say whether it is fast or not, whether it is slow or not. But it was within Chao Ran's expectation. Base operations require approval, and time is running out. But the preparations had been made the last time Taoran went there, and because of Yao Wei, they would definitely come as soon as possible. If you want to rely solely on the base's military strength to survive the crisis, you may be eaten up by your opponents. So Taoran never had such hope. She knew she had to rely on herself. But she will not let go of the people at the base. You have to leave something for them to do, right? For example, the ending of Dongcheng Hospital. For example, this zombie building in the community now. These two problems are quite difficult and dangerous, so they naturally have to be handled by organizations with stronger capabilities. The base came prepared and forcibly taken over Dongcheng Hospital that night. The hospital's power grid was bulldozed, generators were confiscated, supplies were inventoried, and all those left behind were captured. As for the zombie building, the leaders at the base originally suggested that everyone in the community simply abandon the building and not clean it up. Taoran protested strongly. "This is our home. It's the place we defend with all our strength. How can we give up? There are so many monsters wandering around and they may fall from the rooftop at any time. How can we ensure our safety? How can we live in such a stinking environment? What if there are still many Dongcheng supernatural beings who are not dead in the building at all, and when you leave, they will come to us for revenge?" Taoran finally convinced the people at the base. The day after cleaning up the hospital, the base began cleaning up the zombie building. There is no particularly good way, the only way is to lure the zombies little by little to the underground garage. It took them another 2 days and 1 night to lure all the zombies away. Taoran and the others watched clearly with a cold eye. There were many Dongcheng people in the zombie army, but they did not see the Wangyan brother and sister. Are they dead? The people at the base began to clean up floor by floor, and found a few survivors in some houses, but almost all of them were dying due to lack of food, injuries, or mutations. On the rooftop of the building, corpses were almost piled up on the ground. Taoran looked around twice, but still didn't see the Wangyan brother and sister. It stands to reason that with Wangyan's ability, he must be among the group of people who survived to the end. So even if he died, he should have died on the top layer of the body, right? So, what is unreasonable? Taoran never said a word, just stood silently watching the base soldiers clean up the debris. The night was getting darker, and after roughly half of the corpses were cleaned up, the base people said they wanted to rest. "Why don't you all work hard? Do it in one go and you'll be fine tomorrow." Taoran walked towards the small pile of corpses against the wall. She thinks that the stacking of corpses in that area is quite elegant. She reached out and grabbed it. After she threw away the remains of 4 zombies, a shadow suddenly jumped up. If not Wang Yan, who is it? When he was desperate, he squatted in a corner with Wang Zi and piled several zombies on him. The strong smell of monsters helped them avoid the zombie swarms for the next 3 or 4 days. He almost faked it. Originally, the people at the base were going to rest soon. He was still thinking that in the dead of night tonight, he would first send his sister to a safe place, and then have a massacre to take revenge by killing whomever she saw. But, it's Shen Rong again. She ruined her good deeds again. She discovered herself and exposed herself. Let him have no way to hide from the base people. Hateful. Wang Yan suddenly jumped up and could only fight one last time. He wanted to capture a hostage. He had his sights set on the target. But, he was seen through by Shen Rong again. Shen Rong grabbed the officer standing next to her first. Wang Yan failed to catch anyone, and what greeted him was a round of gunfire from the base soldiers' guns. His protective equipment had been damaged for a long time. This time, he failed to escape and died on the spot. The soldiers at the base became solemn, pointed their guns at the pile of corpses and fired again. In this way, the last hidden danger in the community is eliminated. And Taoran also helped Shen Rong earn a life-saving favor. The person she had just rescued was the commander sent by the base this time. When the officer just decided to lead the team to rest, Taoran deliberately caught his attention. She suddenly refuted him, but her eyes were fixed on the pile of corpses. Her words and actions were abnormal and unusual. The officer immediately followed her in stride. Taoran only guessed that Wang Yan was still alive, but Wang Yan did not disappoint her at all. This kindness should have some weight. It would be nice if I could help Shenrong get more care from now on. The community returned to peace. When Taoran was brought back to the base to report, he faced several leaders. The base stated that it would continue to provide them with support and hoped that she could stabilize the community and accommodate civilian survivors. Taoran's performance convinced all the base leaders. The support promised by the base is not limited to materials, but will also provide them with basic safety guarantees. Heightening and strengthening walls, building defensive trenches, equipping power generation facilities, pulling up power grids, providing medicines, water purification facilities, various technical support, etc. As for Yao Weiwei, there was naturally no accountability in the community. Tianhu proved that Yao Weiwei went out on her own and was captured by the Dongcheng people. The captured Dongcheng people confirmed that she died because she was forced to treat the mutated Dongcheng people, plus she did die in the Dongcheng people's car, so, in addition to apply to posthumously declare her a martyr and hold a memorial service. There is nothing to say. The community was listed as a model for ordinary people to save themselves in the end of the world, and Shenrong became the security captain of the community. With all-round support from the base, the most difficult period has passed. They just need to wait patiently, wait for mankind to defeat the virus, and wait for the dawn to come. Taoran felt that she had accomplished everything she wanted to do. She really did her best to protect everyone. Anyway, everyone Shenrong cherished, cared about, and wanted to protect survived in the end. She also achieved her rebuttal to Shenrong. Even ordinary people can walk on a beautiful road. People who are strong, determined, and have light in their hearts are the ones who deserve to be left behind in the world. The sun rises another day, and after leaving behind a pile of various practice notes, the familiar feeling of detachment comes. Shenrong in the void was about to kneel down, but Taoran stopped her. "My life is yours." Shenrong held Taoran's hand. "I have been able to save the lives of more than 170 relatives and friends, and I feel it is worth it. I am willing to dissipate and sacrifice myself. Since your life is mine, you must obey me. Please don't let me down, take good care and protect them." Taoran smiled and only took away half of the blood beads she sacrificed. "Thank you Wenhaha for the tip. I have been sick while writing this article, which is so uncomfortable. I finally finished writing. I have to take leave tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I can't hold on anymore. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 818. The moment she returned to reality, Elizabeth began her urging. Let Taoran quickly prepare to enter the survival game, the sooner the better. After some bargaining, the two finally managed to get Taoran 20 days of rest and preparation time. She planned to improve her physical and mental strength in the limited time. So in the past 20 days, Taoran only took on one job and completed it in half a day. At other times, she is either practicing or thinking about the so-called survival game. Since it is a game, there must be an organizer. Those who can build such a game and provide prizes that are coveted by humans in the ordinary world must be highly civilized people. And they can take the lives of people in the lower world. What do they want to gain by setting up such a game? Of course it's a pastime. This is exactly what the word game means, isn't it? People from the higher world enjoy watching them struggle for life and death in the game. Taoran thought about the last survival game. Every time she did something unique and changed the situation, her points would increase rapidly. Obviously those points are not added by the system, but have subjective additions. Because there is an audience, there will be an extra bonus. Although Elizabeth said that the content and settings of each game may be different, they will definitely remain the same. The purpose of the game is to create fun for people in the higher world, right? Taoran opened his eyes while meditating. Please the audience, attract the audience, capture the audience, this is what I do. So could she think of this survival game as a reality show? Although it's an ensemble cast, there won't be many scenes. But you can add your own scenes. You can fight for the lens yourself. Although she doesn't know the preferences of the big guys and can't please them, she can make them interested or look at them more. As we all know, in any variety show competition, artists who make the audience like or be interested will definitely not be eliminated early. Artists who can help create buzz for the show will most likely survive until the end. So, she decided that this time she would compete for traffic. As long as the flow is sufficient, it will be able to protect her. Even if you can't become a heroine, you can at least ensure that you won't be eliminated easily. Her requirements are not high, as long as she successfully exits the game and gets the reward. The idea was certain, and Dauren, who had been anxious recently, suddenly became relaxed. I also became more involved in practicing. In the past few days, she had also been busy practicing Tang Yu's mental power splitting method and the Tang family's traditional footwork. After learning it in the interstellar world, she hasn't had time to consolidate it in the real world. If Shenrongjia hadn't been holding a gun every day, she would have almost forgotten this good technique. 20 days flew by. That night, Elizabeth was like a fussy old woman, and she talked nonsense with her for a long time. Tawaranka could clearly feel her desperate tension. You must succeed. Our future hopes depend on your trip. When you come back, I will reward you well. After various instructions and requests, the transmission finally started. This process is quite long and dizzy. After a long time, Taoran finally had a real feeling. The body is falling rapidly. It took about a minute or two before there was a boom. She hit the ground hard, but it didn't hurt much. When I opened my eyes, it was a completely empty and white space unlike last time. This time she was on the contrary, as if she had entered a huge, white-toned room without any decoration that could accommodate tens of thousands of people. There are people everywhere here. At a glance, there were at least hundreds of people. Everyone's expressions were curious and nervous, anxious and confused. These people are probably also participants in this survival game. Most of the people are young adults, with occasional elderly people and children. Because there are no prompts, no one knows what to do. So most people are wandering. Of course, some people have already started private chats and want to seek an early alliance. When passing a man with glasses, Taoran saw his own appearance through the reflection of his lenses. Just like the last survival game, your current self is what you look like in reality. After sensing it, it was no different from my own body. Only, there is no internal force in the body. Spiritual power, no. Therefore, the previous exercises should no longer be used. That's right, since it's a game, it should be fair. So everyone should be in a state of incompetence. Taoran looked around and quickly followed the line of sight of others and found an electronic screen. It shows, 779/1000. After a second, the number becomes 782/1000. As the previous numbers jump, a few more people will appear in the space out of thin air. So, the 1000 after the number is the total number of people in this game, and the number in front is the number of people present, right? Sure enough, when the previous string of numbers jumped to 800, an electronic sound came out, the game is about to start, please wait patiently where you are. The electronic sound announced 3 times in succession. There were still 200 people to wait for the game to start, and walking around in circles would only increase anxiety. Taoran simply sat down, wanting to meditate to calm down. However, the tree was still and the wind was still blowing. I don't know whether it was because she was different because she sat cross-legged or because of her outstanding appearance. She attracted attention. "Miss, shall we form a group?" a male voice asked. "Thank you, no need." Taoran didn't even raise his eyelids. "With teammates, the chance of survival may be greater. You are so beautiful, and your brothers will protect you. The rules of the game are unknown. It's not necessarily a teammate or an opponent, right? Even if he wants to form an alliance, Taoran has to choose his own people. Moreover, there are so many people in this hall, many of whom are strong and strong. Those are the first choices for allies. These people chose them because she was a woman, she looked weak, and could betray and support her at critical moments. The team just needs 1 or 2 people who can be used as sacrifices, right?" Taoran sneered, which stung the nerves of the man in front of him. "If you don't give me face like this, you might become your opponent. Little sister, don't regret it then." Taoran opened his eyes suddenly. In front of him is a middle-aged man with shrewd eyes that are not easy to mess with. He is not a good guy at first glance. There were already 4 or 5 burly men standing behind him. They should all be allies he had just recruited. "Taoran, I won't regret it. Because you are too ugly, I'm afraid I'll vomit if I become a teammate with you." Sure enough, the next second, the man became furious and stretched out his fist in a provocation to show that he would make her kneel down and beg for mercy when the game started. Taoran suddenly raised his hand and said, "Are the organizer and order officer here? I want to report it." As soon as he finished speaking, Taoran, who was mentally strong, felt something strange, which was somewhat similar to the feeling of spotlights on a stage. Ah! She tried it on purpose. Sure enough, even in the standby state, they have already begun to enter the field of vision of the big guys. Well, she said that on purpose just to gain attention. This time, she will start as a traffic star. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 819. Hearing the girl in front of him say that he wanted to report it, the middle-aged man was startled and then laughed. "Report? You report whatever you want to report? The game hasn't even started yet, so what if I beat you to death?" Taoran ignored him and emphasized again that he wanted to report it. Finally, an electronic voice appeared and asked her what she was reporting. "Taoran, in line with the principles of fairness and respect for the game, I followed your request of the game is about to start, please wait patiently. But this person, firstly, he is not staying in his own place, and secondly, he is here. Is it a violation of the rules of the game to prevent others from waiting patiently? Is it considered a violation of the rules of the game to prevent others from complying with the rules of the game?" Taoran was obviously picking on his words. The original place mentioned by the system does not clearly indicate whether it is the space or the place under your feet. Of course she was right. The man took the initiative to talk to her and threatened her, which really hindered her. After some judgment, the electronic sound sounded, "The report is valid. Wu Rendeo, male, 41, broke the rules of the game, hindered others from waiting patiently, and will be disqualified from the game," etc. The man panicked and suddenly disappeared from sight before he finished speaking. At this time, the electronic screen above the head changed to 838/999. The original number of players in the game was 1000, but it became 999. The entire scene fell silent for an instant. No one knows whether Wu Rendeo was obliterated or expelled. Everyone fell silent. Is this still possible? Occasionally, Taoran looked at him with a bit of fear in his eyes. Taoran just wants to establish an image that is not to be messed with. Otherwise, she will be criticized for her excessive good looks and her identity as a woman. She may easily become a stepping stone for others or a target of exploitation. She had to save herself some trouble. And if she was just a mediocre group performer just now, but after this hype just now, she now at least has a certain degree of attention. There are many people who sit cross-legged like her, and she can feel that the spotlight on her head is slightly stronger than others. Soon, the progress of the electronic screen above the head reached 999/999. There are enough people. After a series of warning sounds, a screen appeared in front of everyone. Everyone stood up and stared at the screen solemnly. Taoran got a headache when she saw the screen. She had not forgotten the painful process of doing the questions last time. She even made a mess of the kindergarten questions, and was finally recommended by the system to remake them. I hope I won't have to do any more questions this time. What is displayed in front of you is a string of information. Players, please confirm your identity. What is loaded on the screen is everyone's identity information. Taoran pressed the confirm button. Then the page jumped and a carousel appeared. Look carefully, there are numbers from 001-999 on the dial. Players, please choose the game number plate. From now on, each player's identity corresponds to a unique number plate. P.S. The original points corresponding to each number plate vary from 001 to 999, so please turn it carefully. For it. So, it depends on luck. If you're lucky, you can get 999 points, but if you're unlucky, you'll get almost none. This gap is a bit big. Taoran didn't like it. Although she usually has good luck, in the last survival game, her luck was terrible. Speaking of which, she and 4 are quite destined. Last time it was 44, this time, why not choose the one with 4? As more and more of the bright colors on the wheel fade away, those are the chosen ones. There is a large area that no one has selected yet, and that is the 400-499 area. It starts with the word 4, which sounds unlucky, right? She doesn't reject 4. Otherwise, 444? She got it? That's it? This number is quite eye-catching and easy to remember. It should be able to help her harvest more traffic, right? As for the raw points behind this number, it's up to fate. Scanning the left and right players' choices with his peripheral vision, Taoran discovered that the turntable did not rotate with inertia, but pointed wherever it went. So she pressed the start button decisively. She released her mental power, slowly refined it, and sensed the time it took for the pointer to reach each grid on the turntable. She took a picture the moment the pointer just passed 443. Number 444 lit up on the screen. There is also a badge marked 444 on her chest. In addition, as the only player to win the 400 area, she once again felt that the light above her head was brighter. At least it's done to attract attention. Pressing the badge, she entered a new space directly. Just like last time, it was a vast white space where she was alone. On the display, the text jumps. Sound and text play simultaneously. Welcome to the survival game. This time the game is Tower Attack. The tower is 111 stories high, and each level is a level. Passing the level will lead you to the challenge level, and failure will mean you are eliminated. The winner is the one who meets the conditions and walks out of the top of the tower within the specified time. The top 3 winners will all receive generous prizes. Players are asked to work hard and strive for good results. That's it? Taoran let out a breath. Just like last time, I can't tell clearly. The time limit is not specified. If the conditions are met, what conditions are not mentioned? You have to explore it yourself. Page jump, do you want to switch to Smart Assistant? Taoran decisively pressed no. The page jumps again, it is recommended to switch to the Smart Assistant. Taoran chose to skip it and pressed directly to view the number plate points. The card of 444 was flipped over, and the number below turned out to be 555 points. Although she didn't know if the points were the same as last time and were necessary to pass the level, but this time the initial points were quite a lot and they were in the middle and upper reaches, much higher than she originally thought. Feeling good instantly. After that, the page appeared again. Do you want to switch to the Smart Assistant? No matter how you look at it, this system is forcing her to choose a Smart Assistant. She could only choose yes. The display screen disappeared directly, and in front of her eyes was a cute little girl with a 3D image. Welcome, little sister, to use the assistant system number 444. From now on, the little sister and I are one, and I will serve the little sister wholeheartedly. The little sister is so beautiful, and she can be called the best looking player in this game. What does it mean to praise her? Isn't it necessary? Just as Taoran was about to press skip, he saw the little system girl in front of him dancing and dancing. Miss, you currently have 555 points. I suggest you participate in the lottery. We have generous prizes and you may win the grand prize and reach the pinnacle of your life. Miss, do you want to give it a try? You only need 5 points to draw once. With 5 points, there is no loss or deception, only countless opportunities. As the little girl spoke, she did not forget to wink and act cute. Taoran looked at her. She didn't look like a system, but more like a salesperson. These points will be useful later, right? She didn't want to waste the points on such a place. Points can be exchanged for supplies, but lottery is also a way to obtain supplies and points. Miss, please find out, we have rich prizes. The more Taoran looked at it, the more he felt that the system was very unreliable. Thanks for your support. Thanks to Xiaoao and Shuchengui Kai Tumabeo for the reward. Compare your heart. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 820. That's it, just play it once. How is the lottery drawn? 5 points once. The selected grid corresponds to your prize this time. The roulette wheel appeared in front of me again, showing a 50% chance of winning. Among them, 30% are prop rewards, 20% are point rewards, and the remaining board, in addition to being empty, also has a 10% penalty. It seems that the winning rate is quite high. Opportunities and risks go hand in hand. Don't worry, little sister, feel free to press the draw button. Taoran casually patted it once, and then he knew it in his mind. This turntable is different from the one you just selected. After you select it, it will rotate under the action of inertia for a long time, so there are many ways to do it. In the real world, who hasn't had the experience of seeing the big prize area in the lottery several times, but the needle finally landed on? Thank you for your patronage. Isn't this system a points fraud? Fortunately, when Taoran clicked, the pointer stopped on a grid marked as a gift. Congratulations, young lady, it's a prop prize. When he clicked it and took a look, Taoran was speechless. Congratulations, young lady, for getting a trumpet prop. What is the use? The speaker prop allows the young lady to activate her voice once in a single level. After using it, players on the same floor can hear the young lady's voice. That's it? Rubbish. Okay, 5 points wasted. There are 550 points left. Young lady, you are lucky. Let's try another draw. You can get a gift for every 10 draws. No, thanks. Our highest prize is 3,000 points. Don't you want to get rich overnight and be ahead of others? After all, you will win if you love to work hard. Assistant, do you have any other functions? I can help players use their points more, faster and better. In other words, it has no other effect than persuading the lottery. Thanks. Ran even believed that this little assistant was set up by the game to hold him back, so he exited the page without hesitation. However, this little assistant probably cannot be turned off after it is started, and it is still dancing in the lower right corner. Fortunately, Ran found a silent speaker and blocked her voice. Press the continue key on the screen to return to the main task. Text appears on the page. Please answer the question. The player's answer will determine the player's starting point and starting challenge difficulty. It is recommended that players choose carefully based on their strengths and preferences. There is a problem with the page. When it comes to tower, which tower do players most want to go to? A. Lifeng Pagoda. B. Pyramid. C. Leaning Tower of Pisa. D. The tower in the fairy tale. Ran captured the word go to. Is this the background of the starting level? In terms of familiarity, I would definitely choose a Lifeng Pagoda. Her first reaction was White Snake Su Xian. B. The first one was eliminated by Ran. The pyramids are a world-famous mysterious place. There were so many unsolved mysteries that she didn't understand, and she knew enough to not be able to figure them out. Well, it's still the mausoleum, which is a bit scary. As for C, when it comes to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, she only remembers the story of two iron balls falling to the ground at the same time, and then she thinks of physics. Thank you for leaving. Based on the experience of the last survival game, there is no doubt that choosing D may be wise. Fairy tales, for children. It should be simpler. The tall tower in the fairy tale, she thought of the story of Rapunzel. After thinking about it, she finally chose D. Immediately, an explanation appeared under the answer on the page. The Lifeng Tower points to mythology, the pyramid points to folklore, the Leaning Tower of Pisa points to science. Fairy tales are still fairy tales, and the difficulty level is the lowest. Ran breathed a sigh of relief. It's a good thing that I didn't choose the Leaning Tower of Pisa, otherwise I would have stumbled when I came up. The page changed, and a large paragraph of text appeared along with the screen. Sure enough, what emerged was the story of Rapunzel. A couple, the pregnant wife wants to eat lettuce. The husband went to the witch's house next door to steal vegetables and was caught. The witch was angry and demanded that they exchange the endless lettuce for their unborn child. The man agreed. Rapunzel was taken away by a witch when she was born. Lettuce grew up and became a beauty. When she was 12 years old, she was imprisoned in a high tower by a witch. Every time the witch went to see her, she asked her to let her hair down and then climb up her hair. Later, a prince was attracted by Rapunzel and secretly imitated the witch. He asked Rapunzel to let down her hair and climbed up the tower like the witch. The prince and girl fell in love at first sight and prepared to elope, but were discovered by the witch, who cut off Rapunzel's hair and sent her to the wilderness. The prince fell from a high tower, fell into a thorn bush and was blinded. Later, the prince found Lettuce in the forest, who had given birth to twins, and the tears shed by Lettuce made the prince see the light again, and the two lived happily ever after. The story ends and the words emerge. If your character in this story could trigger a new plot, what would you like it to be? A. Rapunzel's lark. The accompanying picture is a colorful bird. B. The prince's horse. The accompanying picture is of a pure white horse. C. The witch's cat. A green-eyed cat, all black, a bit scary. D. Lettuce. It's just lettuce, which makes people speechless. Is there a plot to this level? Ran's fingers hesitated between the two items of prince and witch. Now to attack the tower, you need to go up to attack the tower. Wouldn't it be more convenient for the prince? Moreover, Rapunzel's hair can help him climb the tower. No matter how you look at it, the prince's horse is more suitable. But what Ran finally pressed was C, the witch's cat. First, there must be the most people choosing option B, so how does she show off her uniqueness? On the contrary, the cat looked a bit ugly, which was just in contrast to myself. Second, the witch is the most powerful person in the story. How could the witch not help her own pet? The third and most important reason. Taoran didn't like this story. In the whole story, the worst thing is undoubtedly the witch. She gave the most time, wealth, energy, and love, but not only did she get nothing, she was betrayed by her adopted daughter in the end. But the ending of the story is that the prince and the girl lived a happy life, without even mentioning the witch. As a witch's cat, there should be a lot to do, right? And thinking more deeply, if she did something for the witch, wouldn't the witch have to help her go further? Taoran's little abacus was rattling. And the next second, something speechless happened. She turned into a cat. Black cat. It was the black cat on the screen. Now, you are the witch's cat. Please stand on your side and participate in the plot for role-playing. Here, you can trigger new plots. Please complete the plot and gain recognition from the NPC or system as soon as possible. P.S. This level will determine the starting position and some attributes of the player's attack on the tower, so please proceed with caution. Also, there is no elimination in this level. I wish players a happy game. The next second, the scene changed. Taoran has arrived in the fairy tale world. In the dense forest, a tall tower stands. At this moment, it was the witch who discovered the affair between Rapunzel and the prince. The witch was angry and sad, while Rapunzel knelt at her feet and cried for permission. And now Taoran is lying on the witch's lap, eyes closed, thinking about his own affairs. Taoran was still immersed in the task requirements just put forward by the system. She extracted 3 elements: participate in and complete the plot, gain recognition, as soon as possible. Moreover, there is no elimination in this level. Does this mean that you can build it at will? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 821. In this situation, Taoran should naturally help the witch. The witch must have loved Lettuce deeply, otherwise she would not have just driven her away sadly, but also let her offender go without any punishment. The witch finally chose to let go. She didn't even do any substantial harm to the prince. In fact, like every arrogant parent, she fulfilled them. But they flew away to live a happy life, completely forgetting the witch's upbringing. This ending was obviously not what the witch wanted. If the black cat's position was to be followed, he would definitely help the witch and Rapunzel reconcile, and let Rapunzel stop thinking about being with the prince. This is not impossible, just a bit troublesome. But Taoran had a flash of inspiration and suddenly thought of a way to achieve multiple goals with one stone, once and for all. So, when the witch was about to banish Rapunzel, she went up and grabbed the witch's black robe. Meow! Taoran shouted. With a wave of the witch's hand, Taoran could speak human words. Taoran, we'll see what the prince says when he comes. Witch, do you think I should give the prince a chance? I will always stand by your side unconditionally and help you solve your problems. Taoran looked at the witch with clear eyes, trying to show his sincerity. That night, the prince came. He sang softly under the tower and asked the girl to let down her hair and let him go up. The witch let down Rapunzel's hair. The prince quickly climbed up. My beautiful sweetheart, I'm here to pick you up. The prince put his legs on the window. He was about to jump into the tower as usual, but suddenly a black shadow flashed in front of him. Something slammed into him, knocking him back hard. The prince was caught off guard and was hit hard, unbalanced and falling backwards. As Rapunzel screamed, the prince fell out of the window. It was Taoran who did it. At this moment, she not only grabbed the prince's neck, but also chose the angle for him as he fell. Bang sound. The prince landed. The back of his head hit a hard wooden post hard. He bled a lot. He is dying. Taoran stood beside the prince lying in a pool of blood, and looked up at Lettuce and the witch lying by the window. Her behavior was obviously so shocking that even the witch was dumbfounded. At this moment, she could feel the spotlight above her head burning a little hot. How could you do this? Lettuce was about to collapse. Taoran cleared her throat, walked on her cute cat steps, and raised her neck high. Silly girl, you have been deceived. If this man really loves you, why doesn't he dare to openly ask to marry you? If he wants to marry you, why doesn't he dare to tell my master? If he is educated, how could he lie to you and elope? If he was a noble prince, how could he sneak into your house and have sex with you? If he cares about you, how could he forget that you are not yet 14? If you are so young, your childbirth will be in great danger. But he just got you pregnant. If he cares about your future, why would he let you bring your illegitimate child home with him? Illegitimate children in any country will be spurned. What's more, he is a prince. He doesn't even care about his own children, let alone you. He should know better than anyone the consequences of elopement and illegitimate children. If you are spurned by others and not blessed, you are not qualified for happiness. He is just a selfish, cowardly villain who deceives innocent girls. He can lie to you today, and he can lie to another girl tomorrow. I am just doing harm to the people. When he read this story before, Taoran felt that there was something wrong with the story's three concepts. The witch did nothing wrong. The lettuce she received was an equal exchange with the consent of the lettuce's father. Although she imprisoned Lettuce, it happened suddenly after Lettuce reached the age of 12. No matter what the reason is, it is more of a kind of protection for her children, which will not make her and her children turn against each other, nor will Lettuce forget the kindness of raising her. On the contrary, it was Lettuce that after seeing her giving birth to a boy and a girl in the wilderness, she suddenly understood why the witch wanted to imprison her. Perhaps, the witch had known that one day, she would be deceived by a man into giving up everything. Even the witch banishing Lettuce in the wilderness was a well-intentioned act. Is it to make Lettuce suffer and taste the pain and difficulty of raising children? No matter how you look at it, this fairy tale is all about the prince and the girl. Both of them are extremely selfish and greedy. After Rapunzel met the prince, she changed from being dependent on the witch to being cold-blooded and ruthless. If it wasn't that there was something wrong with her nature, it was because the prince was so clever. So fairy tales are all lies, but Taoran doesn't believe it. The class gap is huge. Lettuce, who is having an affair and has an illegitimate child, will be easily accepted by the royal family, princes and subjects. Is she happy? Nonsense. Therefore, Taoran really wanted to kill the prince. Only when the prince dies is it truly settled once and for all. Otherwise, it would be based on Rapunzel's love brain and the prince's method of deceiving the dead without paying for their lives. This story would be a bit boring. Good to kill. This not only preserves the mother-daughter relationship between the witch and Lettuce, but also prevents Lettuce from being deceived again. Lettuce has no ability to survive, so naturally she can only continue to stay with the witch. When her child arrives, she will naturally lose her innocence and know the greatness of maternal love. In this way, all the witch's hard work is not wasted. Taoran still remembers the three elements of this level: participating in and completing the plot, gaining recognition, and as soon as possible. If you want to go fast, this is the fastest way. The male protagonist is dead, so the plot can't be concluded. If it were murder in real life, I might still have scruples, but this is a fairy tale, fictional. She has no burden, not to mention, she is not eliminated at this level, right? So, the prince died, neatly. Even if he wasn't thrown to death, she would have strangled him. Now, it is time for her to complete another pass condition to gain recognition. She must convince the NPC and the system. The audience of fairy tales is basically minors, and their values should be corrected. According to the original plot, many young girls may be affected and abused. They feel that true love is greater than everything else, and they will abandon everything for true love, and even ignore family ethics. That's right, how ridiculous. Lettuce is a minor, and her behavior with the prince is, at best, a sign of love, but at worst, the prince is committing a crime. Therefore, for the children, for the readers, and for the values, the prince must die. Taoran tried to take his behavior seriously. Then she turned her attention to the witch. My master, can you understand my good intentions? I will always stand by your side, I will solve your problems. Witches are smart people and will definitely understand. The witch must have murderous intentions for the prince, but she is afraid of being resented by Lettuce, so she can't do it. So if Taoran helps her solve this serious problem, she will become Rapunzel's support again, and mother and daughter will not turn against each other. And since Taoran, the black cat, had committed such a heinous act, he could no longer stay with the witch. While the plot is going smoothly, the witch also owes Taoran a favor. Sacrificing the ego to fulfill the master, how can the master not shed tears of gratitude? Taoran stared at the witch with affectionate eyes, waiting for her to show her expression. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 822. The witch was indeed moved. Her spiritual pet turns out to understand her so well. Indeed, she wished she could strangle the prince to death. Her little black cat, for her sake, had to endure the murder himself. At that moment, the witch's eyes turned red. My baby, you suffered. I will always be grateful for your kindness. Taoran, who was waiting for the witch's statement, received this sentence. She was confused. What's the meaning? Suffer. Why did she suffer? Taoran's heart suddenly went crazy. The next second, she understood. There was a cold light at her feet. It's the dying prince. Taoran was shocked. At that moment, she felt scared. Fortunately, her current body is that of a cat. Otherwise, if she had no kung fu, she might not be able to dodge the prince's sword. The prince's sword tip was shining with blue light, it should be magical. This sword slashed out not only with extremely fast speed and fierce momentum, but the sharp edge also swept half a mile away. The trees he swept were instantly broken into two pieces and fell to the ground one after another. At this moment, Taoran began to ask himself, shouldn't he be killed? Will it cause trouble? But the next second, she persuaded herself, kill them all, and failure to kill them will be a disaster. So, when the fallen prince grabbed his sword and gritted his teeth and swiped at him again, she rushed forward. You've done it all, so be brave. Try to gain favor with the witch. Taoran used all her strength. She instantly transformed into lightning. While avoiding the sword, she stepped on the prince's eye with her claws. Using the sensitivity of the cat's body to the extreme, the blind prince wielding the sword could not hit her at all, and the power of the sword he swung was immediately reduced by half. The unwilling prince roared and hit the target. Taoran saw the opportunity, snatched his sword away, and swung it in the opposite direction. The prince was hit by a sword and finally died. I curse you, the black cat. The dying prince's bloody fish eyes stared at the sky, and then he grabbed the crystal ball on his waist. Taoran felt a chill in his heart. Before he could go up and grab the crystal ball, he saw that the ball had been crushed and emitted a faint black light. It's over, it's over. Is this a joke? Now she shudders when she hears the word curse. The prince cursed the black cat, wouldn't it affect her? Pooh. Taoran subconsciously interrupted him and said to the lettuce on the top of the tower. Did you see it? Even when he died, he never thought of entrusting or caring for you and your children. He would rather curse me with his last words before death than ask about your life and death. What you fell in love with is just a hypocrite. You villain. He has been lying to you, you silly girl. Sure enough, the prince was almost speechless when Taoran choked him. Being angered by her, he spurted out a mouthful of blood. He pointed in the direction of Taoran. I curse you. No matter where you run, you will be hunted by my black knights. Hunted. Hunted. The prince died. The next second, thunder suddenly rolled from the sky. Taoran was not sure whether Fang Tiandao struck down this thunder because of the death of the male protagonist, or because of this damn curse. A series of prompts sounded, and a line of red font thicker than the palm of his hand flashed before Taoran's eyes. Marked above, this is the World Channel information, player number 444 completed the first kill in the game. Received the honor of first blood. Another line of text, green, should be just a general reminder, player number 444 obtained the prop prince's dagger. The sword in Taoran's hand turned into a dagger studded with gems. Another line, player number 444 obtained the prince's curse. The information came one after another, and Taoran didn't even have time to digest it. The sky is getting darker and darker, and the sound of horse hooves can be heard faintly in the distant sky. There seem to be thousands of troops. Are they all here to catch her? At this moment, Taoran's heart was like a million alpacas running through him. She instantly thought of another possibility. Could it be that the witch didn't kill the prince or even attack him because of fear? Worried about the prince's ability and family background? Afraid of getting yourself into trouble? Is that why you have to compromise? Damn, came in. Taoran couldn't help but curse. At this moment, the witch flew down from the window. The prince's black knights are coming, you have to run for your life. The witch untied her cloak and threw it into the sky. The cloak spread across the sky, then grew larger and larger, covering most of the sky. My dear, thank you for everything you have done for me. I will protect you and send you away. The witch reached out and hugged Taoran. But I can only send you to the 10th floor at most. After that, it's up to you. 10 floors? Can you go up to the 10th floor in one go? So many? Before Taoran heard this, he heard the witch say again. The prince's knights will not give up. They will keep chasing you, so you must try your best to avoid them. The witch kissed her on the forehead. This is all I can give you. The witch removed the red bottle hanging from her neck. This is my magic. If you are in danger, it may be able to save you once. The bottle was hung around Taoran's neck. Then the witch took out Rapunzel's hair. I saw my hair getting longer and longer, reaching to the sky. Quick, honey, crawl up your hair and get out of here. Taoran was in a daze and was urged by the witch to climb up his hair. As soon as she left this layer, the cat body disappeared and she returned to her original appearance. Behind him, there was the sound of the earth shattering. When Taoran looked back, what he saw was hundreds of black knights on black horses trying to land, but they encountered a tornado turned into a witch's black robe. The knights were trapped by the wind and couldn't get out. She could still vaguely hear the voice coming from the witch, telling her to go quickly. Taoran naturally ran away quickly. A long staircase appeared in front of her, with no end in sight. In short, just run. No matter what, she passed her first mission. And it was at super speed. If the normal settings were followed and she turned into a black cat, how long would it take to resolve conflicts and expose the scumbag's tricks? Who would have thought that it would only take her less than 2 hours in total? She could clearly feel that the beam above her head was always burning hot. As she ran, she heard nothing but ding dong ding dong ding dong dong. Those are all messages sent by the system. She wasn't going to look at it just yet. Because the space beneath her feet was still vibrating. She could feel the power of those black knights. She really didn't want to be chased. After running for a long time, The stairs finally opened up and an intersection appeared. There is a number 2 on the corner. Second floor. Taoran looked around and saw a beautiful coconut grove scenery. She passed right by. Sure enough, there was no barrier. She could continue straight up. It seems that she can really reach the 10th floor in one breath. This tower has a total of 111 floors. As a starting point, the 10th floor should be a very good result, right? The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 823. When we were approaching the 3rd floor, there was another vibration under our feet. Taoran looked back at the 2nd floor. The beautiful seaside scenery just now had been submerged by the tsunami. The 3rd floor is a fantasy forest. It's as beautiful as Alice's Wonderland, the kind of beauty only found in fairy tales. However, in the originally quiet and beautiful environment, when Taoran was approaching the 4th floor, a huge 2-headed snake appeared and swallowed a leopard in one bite. Then she also passed through the Dwarf Kingdom, the Flame Mountain, the Green Grassland, the Rubik's Cube world. Every scene on each floor is the background of a fairy tale. If it doesn't matter life and death, this is really an excellent space to explore. I have to say that people from the higher world still know how to play. Taoran never stopped. She went straight to the 10th floor in one breath. She had no idea how long she had been running. Panting, she finally arrived at the space marked on the 10th floor. And she also felt a strong sense of rejection. She couldn't go up to the 11th floor. Sure enough, she could only get to the 10th floor. On the 10th floor, there is a large platform. There is a sign, Rest Stop. There is a huge electronic screen with words scrolling on it. During the tower attack, a rest stop is provided every 10 floors. Rest stops provide shelter. No fights, no games, just rest. Rest stops provide food, water, and private space. Players, please feel free to enjoy it. Taoran approached and the code on his chest was scanned. The next second, she was already in an independent space. There is a relaxing atmosphere here, with comfortable, clean and soft beds, private bathrooms, cookies, and water. Taoran, who was originally just tired, felt that he had no strength at all the moment he saw the bed. How can I be worthy of myself if I don't lie down and take a nap? She lay down on her back, so comfortable. This bed is so well made. After taking a sip of water, she discovered that the water bottle would still be filled as much as she drank. There is endless water to drink. I ate a biscuit on the plate, and it was the same. Soon, there was another biscuit on the plate. Regardless of anything else, Taoran was half lying and eating while tiredly clicking on his own screen. There is a number 7 on the system envelope logo, indicating that there are 7 unread messages. She opened them one by one. Congratulations to player number 444 for being the first to pass the basic setting level. The system rewards 1000 points. Sure enough, he was the first to finish. As expected of her. Taoran's eyes lit up. Then she now has 1550 points. Click Next. Congratulations to player number 444 for successfully gaining system recognition and earning an additional 1274 bonus points. So much. This score is so incomplete, it must not have been given by the system. So Taoran guessed that these so-called extra points were what he got, regarded as reward points, right? It should be a reward given by the big guys for recognizing her. Sure enough, there are benefits to being a top player, but you also have to bear the corresponding risks. Therefore, she currently has 2824 points. This should be considered too much, right? Continue to click on the next message. Congratulations to the player for getting the Black Cat bonus. The player's agility bonus in the game is 100%, the speed bonus is 50%, and the acuity bonus is 25%. This is fine too. This is what the system said at the beginning. The choice will determine the basic attributes of the game. Not bad. Below this message are additional selected bonus attributes. Lettuce's Lark increases the favorability of all NPCs and players in the game by 100%. The Prince's White Horse is a bonus to speed, endurance and explosive power. Lettuce probably has the attribute of lying flat, and it adds direct luck value. In fact, everyone is pretty good. Of course, you won't regret it if you choose it. Black cats are naturally the best. Taoran continued to click on the next item. Congratulations to the player for gaining the full support of the witch. The player's black cat bonus reward has been doubled. Therefore, the player's agility bonus is now 200%, the speed bonus is 100%, and the acuity bonus is 50%. Very good. Sure enough, pleasing the witch paid off. Congratulations to the player for receiving the kiss and blessing from the witch. Your luck value has increased by 5%. Taoran couldn't laugh any further. The player kills the prince and is cursed by the prince. All luck values in the game will automatically drop by 30%. In other words, she, who originally had poor luck in the game, was given a bad luck charm. Even if the witch gives 5% luck, she still has to add 25% unlucky. In addition to this information, Taoran also saw a gift box logo on the page. After clicking on it, it showed First Kill gift pack. When I opened it, I saw that they were all props. 1 world speaker, 10 ordinary speakers. Tisk. Why does she need so many speakers? In addition, there is a black assassin outfit and a dagger. It's all so useless. Especially the dagger, which is the most common fruit knife sold in 2UN stores. Not as good as the prince's dagger. Taoran took out the prince's dagger. After the dagger was separated from the first layer, the magical blue light on it had disappeared, but it was still extremely sharp. I picked it up and waved it. It fit my hand very well and was much easier to use than a fruit knife. There is also a reminder notification on the display page. Click on it. It is information about the prince and the Black Knight. You triggered the Black Knight plot. The prince is the only son of the king of a neighboring country and shoulders the important responsibilities of the country. There is a sworn feud, and now he died at your hands. The king became so angry that he summoned the Black Knights from all over the country and issued a fatwa to kill you. The Black Knight uses black magic to transform himself into the king's wizard. He is brave and good at fighting and will never look back. Players are asked to be prepared to face the pursuit of the Black Knight. P.S. As long as the player does not leave the tower attack game for 1 day, the Black Knight will chase him to the ends of the earth. Either fight or hide, players should be careful. So annoying. The words revealed a huge sense of oppression, but strangely, Taoran's body was still lazy. They come, the security. Take a good rest first. Taoran flipped through the screen pages and accidentally clicked on the little assistant again. The cute little girl appeared again and sweetly called sister. Afterwards, she showed off her rainbow fart and once again started to fool Taoran into drawing a lottery. My luck value has dropped by 30% now. It's 25%, dear. I'm so unlucky, the lottery is a complete waste. How will you know if you don't try, right? Then 5 more coins. Seeing how hard the little girl lobbied, Taoran was very compassionate and regarded it as a reward. The wheel spins. The hand stopped. Miss, you are really lucky. Even if your luck value is discounted, it will not damage your highlight. Look, it is a prop prize with a winning rate of only 30%. Click to take a look. Another ordinary speaker. Rubbish. No more playing. No, the assistant tried her best to plead with her fists. Miss, try again, this time it will definitely not be a trumpet. Oh, So sure? Taoran raised his eyebrows. She spent another 5 coins spinning the roulette wheel. Just like before, this time, the pointer turned a small half circle, and when it was about to stop at the empty disc, it moved forward 2 spaces and finally stopped at the prop area. Is she so lucky? Including the previous one, 3 times, all of them won items with a success rate of only 30%. And it was based on her bad luck. What are the odds? No matter how you look at it, this lottery is a bit fake. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 824. Being able to successfully transfer to item rewards 3 times, Taoran felt that this lottery was a bit like kitten fishing. Are you trying to defraud her of points? Clicking on the item box this time, a pair of white gloves came out. That's it? What rubbish, it's all rubbish. The little assistant quickly explained, no, miss, I swear, these are useful. And 10 ordinary speakers can be exchanged for 1 world speaker, and 10 pairs of white gloves can be exchanged for 1 pair of golden gloves. The golden gloves can increase by 5%. The power of 10. Taoran shook his head. Damn it, it's too pitiful. How many points do you have to spend to get something useful? To be honest, she really didn't dare to spend too many points before she knew the ratio of points to supplies. Young lady has just played twice, why not spend another 40 points to buy 8 more chances, 10 get 1 free, so you can draw the lottery 9 times. Every time you play 10 times, you will get a grand prize with points. Oh, so good. Then how many points will you get? The points award is at least 100 points. So, if I play 11 times with 50 points, I can get at least 100 points? If you try so hard to fool me, aren't you going to lose a lot? Those who trade at a loss are not called bankers, they are called philanthropists. This kind of thing can't happen in a survival game. So, the problem is the 10% penalty board, right? I haven't asked you yet, what are the penalties? The little assistant realized that there were many mistakes in what he said, and his face had already become stiff, as if he was about to cry without tears. It's just a penalty point, a delay, or something. But that's only a 10% chance. Even if the lady's luck drops by a quarter, there's still a very small chance that she will choose punishment. For a moment, Taoran felt that the assistant's expression and tone didn't look like an artificial intelligence, but more like a human being. You sure? Probably. Okay. Then I will continue to play a few more times. However, you just missed 1 count. I have already played 3 times. I should only need to pay another 35 points to draw 8 times. Oh, yes, miss, you have such a good memory. The assistant instantly burst into laughter. I'll cheer for my sister, she will definitely win. The smile on Taoran's face faded, and his whole aura blossomed. I'll lend you a good word. But the ugly words are ahead. Aren't we going to fish? If you want to gain points from her, you have to let her take advantage. This is my first multi-point lottery. If I win well these 8 times, then we will continue. If I don't win well, then I can swear that I will never be with you until I leave. A waste of half a point. Isn't it just fishing? She can fight back. The other party shouldn't be interested in her 35 points. In order to hook her, he must give her something sweet to make her addicted. To be a banker, you must have some magnanimity. Don't worry, little sister, you will definitely get what you want this time, the assistant's tone was very sure. 35 points are paid and the roulette wheel is spun 8 times in a row. Sure enough, whether he was intimidated by her or just to hang her, the chances of winning the lottery were extremely high. None of the 8 times the pointer was in the penalty area. During one of the rotations, the pointer abruptly moved from the penalty grid to the buy area next door. There were only 2 buys in the 8 times, and the others were all awarded. There were 2-point prizes, 100 and 200. She won a total of 300 points. Now her points are 3,079. In addition, there are props, a trumpet, a dagger, a mask, and a hat. What's outrageous is that the hat belongs to the assistant. "Thank you, miss," the assistant put on her hat. "Congratulations, little sister, for unlocking the side mission, dressing up the assistant." After collecting the assistant's full set of equipment, the assistant can be upgraded to an assistant to help the player pass the level. Oh. Well, young lady, how about another 30 draws? Trying to upgrade your assistant as soon as possible. Haha, no. Taoran stretched out his hand to shut down the assistant. The assistant suddenly became anxious. Sister, didn't you say that if you get good results from the 8 draws just now, you'll continue? Why don't you draw again? I said continue, not now, but later. Let's talk about it next time. She had just drawn it after confirming that she was sure to make a profit. Now that she had caught 250 points, she had earned them out of thin air. She had to accept them as soon as they were good, so as not to lose miserably. She is so unlucky that she still dares to be a gambler? Are you crazy? Only then did the little assistant realize that he had been deceived, and he burst into tears. I cried so hard that I was miserable. Taoran actually felt her sadness. I couldn't help but look at her for a second longer, and then turned her off and blocked the sound. After eating a few biscuits to fill his stomach, Taoran fell asleep. She is too tired. Falling into the soft quilt, she fell asleep quickly. Ken. She always felt something was wrong subconsciously. But she just couldn't be bothered to think about it. So this sleep, I fell asleep in a daze, and the more I slept, the more tired I became. I don't know how long it took, but there was a ding. She realized it should be a system message. She wanted to read the news. But he didn't want to move. The benefits of being mentally strong are revealed. After a battle, her consciousness finally defeated her instinctive inertia, and she forced her eyes open. Click to open the information. The witch on the first floor sends you a flying pigeon message. The prince's black knight has broken through her blockage and is chasing you at an invincible speed. Now, the black knight is about to break through the tsunami on the second floor. Taoran suddenly woke up halfway. Why did you fall asleep? It shouldn't be. She rubbed her eyes and looked at the screen again. Then he clicked on the dancing assistant. The little girl asked her to draw a lottery again. Thinking of the 250 points she won not long ago, Taoran paid another 50 points and drew 11 consecutive draws. After pressing her fingers out, she suddenly woke up. Wrong. This is very wrong. After the last draw, she made up her mind that she would not draw easily again. How come? However, the results of this lottery have come out. 4 spaces. 5 prop awards. They were, respectively, a pair of shoes for the assistant, 2 useless speakers and an ordinary dagger. And 100 points reward. But there are 2 more, they are punishments. 2 penalties. With a 10% chance of punishment, she hit 2 at once. One was a point penalty, which fined her 500 points. At a glance, her points amount has changed from 3029 to 2529. My chest hurts. Fraud. Let her fly more than 500 points in vain. The other punishment was even more painful. In order to add more fun to the game for players, 2 rounds of natural and supernatural punishment experiences have been added for players. I wish players a happy game. Speechless. Don't understand. It's definitely up to no good. Quite depressing. Therefore, She drew more than 20 times, but in the end not only did she not earn points, but she also lost more than 500 points. But all I got was a pile of rubbish and 2 unlucky experiences. Hello little assistant. Taoran glared hard. Something is very wrong. Everything is wrong. There was something wrong with her falling asleep since she entered the room. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 825. Taoran's self-control has always been strong. No matter which world she was in, she had never been in this lazy state. She has always had little sleep and has never fallen asleep. But this time she felt sleepy as soon as she got into bed, and she actually fell asleep. She had been dreaming just now. In her dream, she took over a blockbuster film and conquered the audience and judges with her acting skills. She stood on the stage and accepted the trophy. She finally won the top international film award, and her long-cherished wish finally came true. She was filled with joy and felt that she had no regrets. Although the subconscious mind has long known that something is wrong, it just can't think about it. She was being hunted, and she originally felt a sense of urgency, but here, she always ignored that sense of tension. If the witch hadn't sent her a message, she didn't know how long she would have slept. What will she face then? Caught by the Black Knight? Be eliminated? Thinking about it, she still put in a lot of effort to pull herself out of sleep. When she woke up, she felt itchy in her heart and went to draw the lottery. Isn't there something weird in everything? So Taoran's first reaction was that there was something wrong with the little assistant. The assistant held her fists and bowed one after another, apologizing again and again. With red eyes filled with tears, she stretched out her hand and swore to ensure that she had neither tampered with anything nor affected any data in the lottery. She didn't do anything. She also said weakly, actually, this is the correct way to open your current luck value. You are just unlucky. Taoran huffed. Since he is not an assistant, it is the problem of this room. She patted the number plate on her chest and left the space. Sure enough, as soon as I came out of the rest area, the fatigue just now was gone. She tried to return to the rest space, but found that she couldn't go back even if she scanned the number plate. It can be seen that the lounges on each floor are for one-time use. However, the previous restriction on going to the 11th floor seemed to have disappeared. Taoran tried to stand on the stairs, but this time he didn't feel any rejection. Ha! Sure enough, the 10th floor just now was not just a rest area, it was a level in itself. This level should magnify people's laziness, greed, and selfish desires. Coupled with the comfortable environment, sufficient supplies, and safe restrictions, it is even easier for people to sink endlessly. If you stay here, you will become more and more useless and lazy. If you are not careful, you will get lost in your dreams, right? This resting space is very problematic. Fortunately, she had thought not long ago that she would take more biscuits and water with her when she left after resting. Now that she thinks about it, there may be something wrong with those foods. Taoran's sense of urgency grew. She had to hurry up to the 11th floor. She rushed up the long stairs again. However, within 10 steps of rushing forward, her expression changed. There was lightning and thunder in the sky. Then, heavy raindrops fell. A strong sour smell came to my face. Damn it, acid rain. Taoran understood that this was the natural punishment after the lottery. Can she stop scolding her? This is on a long staircase, with no cover above the head and nowhere to hide on either side. The sky is not responding to the call, and the earth are not working. She didn't even have anything to protect her from the rain. The raindrops hit Taoran's jacket, instantly corroding small eyes. What could she do? You can only put on a hat, pull the zipper to the highest point, tuck all the skin into the clothes as much as possible, cover your head and face up and sprint quickly. She was already moving very quickly, but a row of small bumps had formed on the back of her hand that was slightly wet. Acid rain poured down. The densely packed sesame corrosion spots on the jacket gradually expanded, and the outer layer of the clothing material began to peel off. Her face was inevitably hit by the rain, causing severe pain. The acidity is unusually low. She's going to lose her face. She was so furious that anyone who touched the female star's face would fight to the death. Taoran had already raised his speed to the highest level. Even though the black cat bonus doubled the speed, she could still feel that the hat of the jacket was rotten and her scalp was in excruciating pain. She told herself that if she endured it longer, she would reach the 11th floor in 10 seconds at most. Her face was full of pain. In order to avoid further damage to her face, she could only lower her head lower and lower. However, unexpectedly, just as she was about to reach the 11th floor, her feet suddenly became empty. The way she ran with her head down blocked her vision, and she didn't see it at all. The moment she changed her feet, the stairs were disconnected. In an instant, the acid rain stopped. The originally long staircase broke into two parts and quickly floated away in two directions. And Taoran, thanks to his already nimble skills and the multiple bonuses of the black cat's agility, at that critical moment, he grabbed the last section of the staircase with both hands. Her whole body was hanging in the air. When she looked down, she saw the bright starry sky. At this moment, the two stairs seemed to be floating in space, drifting away. Need I say more? This is the supernatural punishment. She really wants to curse. If she didn't have the black cat bonus, if she didn't have the all-round bonus of speed and sensitivity, even if she had the skills in real life now, she might not be able to react in time. Then she was left in this vacuum, right? Taoran was unhappy when something unexpected happened again. A meteorite flew towards her at super high speed with sparks. She tried her best to hide, but still couldn't completely avoid it. The meteorite brushed against her waist. My waist is burning, it seems serious. Taoran didn't dare to hang on anymore. Then, she got the experience of an astronaut. Thanks to your dexterity. He put his hands on the stairs, lifted his whole body up, and then floated out. She settled on the broken upper half of the stairs. She was afraid of floating out and did not dare to take it lightly. She could only hold onto the stairs tightly. She also discovered that her fingernails were completely broken from the scratch just now, and her fingertips were bloody. After a few seconds, suddenly, the stairs trembled again. The vacuum state disappeared, the space background disappeared, and it seemed that everything just now was an illusion. The disconnected stairs had been reconnected. Taoran, who was lying on the stairs, was thankful that he had been prepared. Otherwise, he would have been thrown down the stairs by those huge tremors just now. She took a few deep breaths and started to get up again. Sure enough, after only a dozen steps, she reached the 11th floor. She didn't rush in, but sat down on the stairs. She was thankful that there was no one else but her. Now, because most of her jacket was corroded, her clothes were ragged and unsightly. She was even more injured. The two actions of using all her strength to climb up the stairs and prevent her from falling down the stairs caused injuries to almost the entire front of her body. The waist was more serious, with injuries and burns. When touched, it was sticky with blood. In addition, acid rain corrosion left many blisters on her body, and now she is in urgent need of treatment. Clothing is also needed. She could only put on the black night clothes from the first kill gift package she had opened before. But where can I get the medicine? She won't be infected, right? The last time we survived in the world, we weren't in such a miserable state this time. With this in mind, Taoran set his sights on the 11th floor. It's such a coincidence. Her eyes sparkled. This floor is clearly marked, Supply Station. This was the place she had longed to come to. She has points and can finally redeem them, right?